Hi guys and welcome back. So I actually wanted to do this video outside, but I think it's still raining out here in LA and everybody is going crazy because they're not used to the rain. And it was funny because I was sitting in my class today, my family therapy class, and there was this loud rumbling of noise that just went off while we were having a really deep-seated discussion. And everybody like jumped except for me. Like people were startled. And I'm like, really, y'all? It's just thunder. But I guess I had to remind myself this is LA. And they're not used to thunderstorms or rainstorms for that matter. So everybody was just freaking out. But I'm like, it's just rain, you guys. It's just thunder. But I found that very funny. Being that I'm from Florida and we get tons of rain and thunderstorms and lightning, that's not unusual, but people, like, they are terrified of it because it's like a natural disaster for them out here when they experience it. I'm just like, y'all, it's just a little bit of rain, don't trip, it's just rain, you guys, calm down. The world is not going to come to an end. It's just under. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about, if my phone will allow me and the internet connection will allow me, to talk to you guys a little bit about staying focused, because that seems to be like a really difficult thing that a lot of people are experiencing, just keeping their eyes on the prize, staying the course, staying focused. And I think this topic applies to many different people: students, employees, business owners. I'm a student myself. I'm working towards my PhD. I'm in my third year, actually finishing up my third year. And then I have one more year of academic coursework, and then my final year will be my paid internship. So it is breezing by, and my supervisor asked me yesterday in supervision, like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm maintaining. I'm doing pretty well, actually. I'm maintaining. And she laughed. She's like, I haven't heard that word in a while. I'm just like, I'm maintaining. I'm good. I'm okay. But I think it can be very it can be problematic when we get distracted by different things, or we lose sight of our goals, or we are not able to like really focus our attention and be like, I'm talking about the kind of attention that you need to, let's say, finish a PhD program or to achieve a lifelong goal. Like, it can really acquire some eagle eye focus, and a lot of times there's so much going on in the world, right? Especially with social media, it's a huge distraction, and people get off track of their goals. Looks like, not that they forget about their goals, but when you lose focus, it's like you lose the motivation, you lose the energy that it takes, that you once had, that initially brought you to the point of even having this vision that you wanted to achieve. You get sidetracked, this pops up, that pops up, and then before you know it, you keep procrastinating and it never gets done. And that's not what we want. Speaking of social media and attention, it reminds me of one of my clients who's a teenager, and he just motivated me. Like, he actually said that he deleted all of his social media, and I was just so inspired by that. I mean, we're talking about a teenage student, high school student, who has enough discipline to delete all of his social media. Now, that's some focus right there. And it's obvious. I mean, I think the reason why many of us have said, oh, we're going to delete our Facebook account, we're going to delete Instagram, Twitter, but who actually does it and it really is serious about it? And he's like, I'm going on this cleanse, because he wants to focus more on his school. He wants to be more productive. He wants to get better grades. And I think that we always have these ideas for what we want. We have these goals, but you have to put in action to achieve those goals. In therapy, they call it interventions. There has to be some kind of intervention that takes place in order for you to achieve that goal. How are you going to get whatever it is that you say that you want to attain? It's just not going to fall out the sky. It requires work, and part of that work is being focused. And it sounds so easy, right? Like, it sounds like it doesn't require much. All you got to do is just keep your eyes on the prize. But no, in the face of distractions, I think that's where it becomes a challenge, because it's much easier said than done. And even when my client was telling me about this, I was like, okay, so you don't get the urge to want to pick up your phone. And I mean, it becomes a habit when you're on social media for so long, the whole expectation of checking your notifications, right? Like, you get used to that routine of picking up your phone and unlocking your phone and seeing who commented on your post, seeing who posted what. That becomes a whole routine. So to be able to rewire your brain to break that routine can be very difficult. It's just like coming off of a drug, like you're going through withdrawal. And he said, yes, it's difficult, and sometimes he gets the urge to do that, but he resists. And I think it takes a lot of discipline to be able to stay on the course, to say, you know what, I know that I would like to see who's on Instagram, who's posting what. Because he says that another thing is that he found himself, which a lot of us do this. I mean, we've heard this over and over again, where people actually, I'm actually checking because I'm waiting on someone, but people actually be on social media scrolling for like hours at a time. This is not uncommon. And I'm like, you don't get the urge to want to see who's posting what, to see what's going on out there in the social media world. Maybe you miss it. It's like, nah, because I think it gets to a point where you realize your goal and what you want to achieve is worth far more than the little instant gratification that you're getting by looking at some posts or getting comments or checking your notifications and seeing that someone liked your post. I mean, it's way much more important than that. And yes, it does take some discipline, but once you put it into practice, once you say, okay, I'm going to delete my social media accounts, and you actually do it, and you stay the course, you stay off of social media, and you find new things to do in place of checking your social media, then that becomes a new routine. It's like you rewiring everything about yourself. You're rewiring your brain, because there's something that goes on within our brain when we're constantly checking our social media. It's like we are activating the reward system in our brain. The same system that is impacted when people are using drugs is the exact same thing. Because we feel this instant gratification, this instant reward. The same thing when people smoke and they get high or they drink. It's this instant gratification. And so you have to teach your brain to do something differently. And I think it's amazing when we can do that. And it's rewarding because when you are able to actually be more productive throughout the day and achieve your goal, you see, okay, I have this goal. The goal may take 3 months, it may take 6 months, it may take a year, it could take 5 years, but just to know that you were willing to discipline yourself. And sometimes it does require sacrifice to give up those things that you desire, that you love, that you like a lot. But within that sacrifice, you are able to still gain something. And that, I think, is the most amazing thing. And like I said, I'm reminded of myself, who I am in a PhD program working towards become a clinical psychologist. And yes, I've sacrificed a lot. And I think the main thing that really inspired me to do this video is the fact that, yes, I am in my mid-30s. So, of course, I'm experiencing my biological clock ticking. I don't have any kids, and I'm thinking about, dating and love and relationships and all that. So I'm only human, and I find myself feeling like I need to explore my dating options to see what's out there. And I'll do that. I get on dating apps, or I just keep my senses open to, like, when I'm out and, guys are trying to talk to me, I don't shut them down immediately. But I kind of see, like, okay, if I'm interested, in them physically, or if it's something about them that grabs my interest, and I'll entertain it, while I'm in this process of, I'm exploring my options. And I've done that actually for, I think, the past several months, right? And what I've noticed is that I feel like it has become a distraction. I feel like, yes, at times it can be fun, it can be exciting, it can be, rewarding, but I feel like, what am I losing, and what is this costing me? And specifically, the person that I was just recently engaged in conversation with, getting to know We were, I guess, so-called dating. Um, he's from Lagos, Nigeria. I felt, this is the engineer I told you guys about. But I felt like, yes, he might be a smart person. He may be somewhat of my type. And by the way, who's watching, feel free to comment. Feel free to interact. I like when people comment. I like my videos to be very interactive. So feel free to comment and engage if you wish. But, I mean, yeah, I was feeling him, you know, and I felt like, okay, this is possibly a potential person that I could seriously date. You know, who knows, get married to, have kids, build a family with, you know, the whole shebang, right? But then I found myself like getting annoyed. And not that everyone annoys me, because he brought that up. It was like, oh, I see that you always easily annoyed. I'm not easily annoyed, dude. But if you're doing things that I know annoy me, I'm going to point it out. You know, and when I point it out, it's not for you to do more things to annoy me, but it's for you to figure out what is it that's happening, you know, and just to stop it. Like, I feel like some people do things to intentionally annoy other people, you know, and it's very rare that I get annoyed, you know, but he was just annoying to me. And I was just like, I don't see how this is going to work, because yes, there are certain aspects of your character, your personality that I'm attracted to. Like, I consider that he can be, you know, he's dominant. He has like a dominant personality. But I don't know. I ask myself, is it really dominance or is it really control? And that's where I have to kind of tease things apart, because I'm like, the things that you're saying to me and the way you're making me feel, it feels more like you're trying to manipulate me. And that's what I don't go for. And on top of that, I just feel like it's a distraction. I find myself spending a lot of time on the phone, going back and forth. Like, we're just getting to know each other. This is a very early stages of a relationship. So why are we arguing? We should not be arguing. But I find myself arguing with him. I find it to be very annoying. And I'm like, this is not how it goes down. I mean, and I think, of course, it has a lot to do with my expectations of how relationships should go. Because especially in the beginning, I feel like it's a guy's responsibility to win the woman over. Like, dude, no. You know, it's like, yes, I get it. You probably feel like you are a catch, but I am the catch. And if a guy doesn't identify that or recognize that, then that's not my type of guy. I mean, that's just my preference. You know, every woman has her own preference. I have mine. And I feel like if I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to slow down my life to attend to another individual, and we're talking about building a family with the potential of having kids, inviting you into my life, you know, inviting you into my body. Because when a woman gets pregnant, her body changes. If I'm going to allow you that opportunity, you better believe I'm going to make sure it's the right person. Like, and I feel like a lot of times women don't do that. If you allow too many people in your life, and what are they bringing to your life? They should bring something. Yes, it's vice versa. You should add something to this person's life. But I feel like, come on. And every time I tell him, like, this isn't going to work, he's, like, trying to chase me down. Like, oh, I don't give up too easily. This is going to work. I blocked his number. Dude calling me private. I'm like, it's not going to work. I am turned off. And instead of him trying to change certain things that annoy me, he continues to do. I say, well, it's not your fault. Maybe you can't help it. You know, you're doing these things that annoy me, and I don't like it, and I find it disrespectful. So either you stop doing it, or it's just not going to work. I mean, it's not that complicated. It's not rocket science, you know? And the fact that I guess he finds it difficult to be different, because granted, I mean, he's from Nigeria, and I'm from America. You know, I was born in Florida. I'm an American, obviously. So, yes, we come from two different cultural backgrounds. I get that. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, you are in America, so I feel like, yes, just as much as I guess is my desire actually to understand his culture, because that's what I'm pretty much interested in. I mean, that's what my research is, and that's what my clinical focus is. Like, I'm all about African culture, right? History and identity and all of that. But I think you should also be just as interested in trying to understand the American culture. And granted, we are in America, so you don't be like, oh, well, this is how it goes down. Okay, my phone is breaking up. But don't be like, this is how it goes down in Igbo culture. Okay, that's Igbo culture, and I get it. But if I don't like it, I don't like it. And that's another reason why I made that video before about, can I actually date or marry an African man? And I'm just like, I don't know. If all African men are like this, I don't know if I can do it. Because we were even talking about like some things that, say hello, who is watching? Let me see who's watching. I'm gonna call you out. But we were talking about, like, you know, husband and wife relations in the Igbo culture, right? And we got on the topic about, I don't know how we got on this, but we were talking about, I think it was like some expectations a husband has of his wife, right? And if she doesn't follow what he was like, Igbo men can be very dominating or something like that. He was trying to basically tell me about his culture, right? It's like, Igbo men are this way, and they have these expectations of their wives, and if the wife doesn't meet the expectation, there are consequences. So he started talking about the consequences, and he was giving me different examples. It was like, so for example, the consequence could be, in extreme cases, like the husband puts the wife out of the house. And I'm like, I just think about myself, right? I only could laugh about that. But he was like, that's on extreme cases. And I was curious. I was like, okay, and what kind of situation would warrant the husband putting the wife out of the house? And he was like, oh, like, let's say she cheated. I'm like, okay. Oh, I guess. Okay. Then he was saying, like, another consequence could be, and this is like a form of discipline, where he doesn't eat her food that she cooks. Another one would be not sleeping with her, so like withholding sex. And then he mentioned like whooping her with a cane. I'm just like, okay. Now, actually, you guys know that I'm into the BDSM lifestyle, so I'm okay with the whooping, because that's right up my alley. I like stuff like that. It may seem kind of weird to you guys, but I like that. I like kind of physical punishment within certain limits, of course. And as long as the guy is restrained, he's not doing it out of anger. Like, he's not going this, angry tirade and just hitting me. No, that's unacceptable. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about within a controlled environment, and he has control over himself. Then yeah, I'm okay with, spankings and little fun things like that. But the whole kicking the wife out the house, I'm like, no. And then he's talking about like the hierarchy of men and women. And then this was it yesterday? I think the day before yesterday, he could go and talk about, women, or he was like, men are smarter than women. Y'all know I had to like, hold up. Now, I know that there are gender differences when it comes to performances on standardized tests, right? But that doesn't necessarily translate and mean that men are smarter. It just means that men perform better on these tests. I said that could be for a number of reasons. Number one, it has something to do with the validity of the test, what the test is actually measuring. Is it really measuring intelligence or whatever it says is measuring? Like, how did they come up with this construct? How do they even develop the test? What are the test questions based on? Who created the test? Those are the kind of questions that I would want to know before we draw such conclusions and say, oh, man is smarter than a woman, and you're doing it based on some tests. I say, and besides, intelligence it's a social construct. It depends on one's social context. So if we're talking about, yes, in certain given societies, let's say the Igbo culture in Nigeria, then it may appear that a man is smarter than a woman, because they may have more political power, economic power, they probably make more money. Women are their stance within the society is kind of restricted to like domestic duties and chores and stuff like that. So it may appear like, oh, a man is so smart because he has all these responsibilities. But I'm like, no, that's just how within that social context intelligence is defined. I said there are many different types of intelligence, so let's not get it mistaken. He was like, no, well, I define intelligence as logical reason. I say intelligence is more than just logical reasoning, dude. Like, I think he forgets that he's talking to a person who studies human behavior and psychology. And I mean, like, psychologists, hello, we do psychological testing and we test for intelligence. And I know about what different types of intelligence exist out there. And it's more to intelligence than just logical reasoning. Like, hello. But I get it, to fluff up your ego, that makes you feel better. And so then he goes like, oh, well, why do women want to be men? I'm like, okay, let's be specific. If you're talking about me, then just say you're talking about me and ask me directly, why do you feel like I want to be a man? But I'm like, I have no interest in being a man. And I say, he was like, no, generally speaking, a lot of women, you know, in society want to be men. And I'm just like, where they at? No women. I mean, of course, you have the transgender and the transsexual population. I'm very much aware of that. So I actually mentioned in our conversation, I said, well, okay, you're talking about the transgender or the transsexuals. It was like, no, women just want to be like men. I'm like, okay, it depends on what is your definition of a man. Because if you look at it as a person who's smart, so when you're saying women want to be smart, and you only associate that characteristic with men, like, dude, you totally missing the whole point. That's just how you've been conditioned in Africa, you know, because the roles are unequal, you know. And no disrespect to that type of culture. It's different. I get it. But I'm trying to get him to understand, you are not talking to an Igbo woman. You're talking to an African American. So based on my cultural shaping and my experience and my own conditioning living in America, my perspective is going to be different. It's going to be way different. And I stand firm in my beliefs. And outside of that, I feel like he was like, oh, so you think that the American way of doing things is the right way? I said, I wouldn't say necessarily it's right or wrong, or no culture is right or wrong. I say it's specific to the environment. So what you're coming from, the perspective you're coming from, it works well in that particular environment in Africa. And the perspective I'm coming from obviously works here. Well, here, I mean, that's the way it is. And so I think he was getting kind of bothered by that, but I was getting bothered by the fact that he's so very like rigid in his thinking when it comes to these gender stereotypes. Because I'm like, for you to sit up here and talk about men are more intelligent than women, like, hold your horses, buddy. You know, and I feel like he has like this very misogynistic view of women that kind of annoys me. Now, granted, I am the kind of woman that does prefer a hierarchy in a relationship when it comes to a man and a woman. That's me all the way. I want my man to lead the household, to make decisions, and that's what I think what attracted me to him, because I see that in him. You know, he's that kind of man that likes that kind of position. What's up, Nicholas? But I think it's his delivery, because I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. You have all these assumptions, and they're so wrong, and I don't know. But I think also within Igbo culture, like, the men are used to women just even not talking back. That's another thing. He mentioned that. He was like, men have the final say. Women don't really argue with men. And I'm like, that's your perception. It's not really arguing, but women here we have a right to express ourselves. We have a right, and we have an opinion, and we have a perspective. It's not seen as nothing bad for a woman to express herself. Well, of course, unless she's black, I mean. But other women apparently from different races are allowed to express themselves, you know. I think it's getting better, I guess, with black women. But you still have a lot of people that look at black women who are very articulate and very expressive. They try to demean us. They label us. They say we're argumentative. They say we're angry. They come with all these freaking derogatory names. anything but saying that we're just expressive and we're intelligent, because we have a brain. There's, oh, we want to be like men. Nobody wants to be a freaking man. That's your misconception of what a man is. Because in prehistoric times, yeah, men were the ones who were allowed to speak. I mean, just look at the scripture in the Bible. A woman not even supposed to freaking be a pastor, a preacher. Women ain't even allowed to speak in public. So y'all kind of still living in that time frame mentally, which I'm far from that time frame, and I think also he doesn't. I mean, yeah, he talks about, oh, it's good that you're becoming a doctor. It's not that I put it in his face. He be bringing that shit up. He's like, oh, you training to become a doctor. But I feel like he be trying to use sarcasm, because like, oh, I'm an engineer. You training to become a psychologist. I can't win with you when it comes to an argument because that's what you do. I'm like, dude, I'm not here to argue with you. Like, you really think I'm just here to sit up here and be arguing with your ass all motherfucking day, every day? Oh, no. Dude, I have a life. I got shit to do. And I think he doesn't understand. I try to put it out in plain English, still don't get it. I got shit to do, man. I don't have time to sit up and argue with somebody. If anything, how I would like for things to go, it's very peaceful. We get to know each other. I'm like, damn, we don't even really know each other. Where is this conflict coming from? Like, why are we having these debates? Why are we arguing to the point where I'm like, you know what? Bye. What is the point? I'm not about to be on the phone with you arguing. And you want to keep going on, and you've been very offensive. Then, this is what, oh my gosh, last night, I had to just you know what? I'm about to block you. Because dude went there, and it's just, he wasn't trying to see where I was coming from. He wasn't trying to listen. And I have an issue with a man that feel like a woman is supposed to listen to him, but you not listening to me. Dude, I'm gonna pay you the same favor that you pay me. So if you don't listen, I'm not listening. Why should I listen to you if you're not listening to me? I feel like it goes both ways, dude. And I feel like, number one, and on top of that, it's just like, you expecting, yes, I'm a submissive, right? I'm naturally, what most women I think are. But you can't expect a woman to just naturally submit. Like, dude, I don't know you like that. We're getting to know each other. And a woman's submission is a gift, which I feel like a lot of men, it go right over their head. It's a gift. It ain't something that, oh, boom, I meet you and boom, I submit to you. Dude, do you not know the context in which we live in? That is very unsafe. It's very unsafe for a woman to just be submissive to a man. Like, it can cost a woman her life. So yes, with time and with trust, eventually she will submit. That's what's going to happen naturally. And if a man don't understand that, I'm like, at a point, I don't have time for that. And so I told him, I was like, I see this relationship as a distraction. It's taking way too much of my time and way too much of my energy. And what am I gaining? Like, what are we gaining? I'm like, what are you gaining from this back and forth? Because apparently you're gaining something and I'm annoyed by it. And I try to end it and he's just like, but this, but that, but listen, baby. No, ain't no baby. Listen to what I'm saying. And if it isn't, I feel like it's always going to be that way because, remember, we're just two different people. We come from two different cultures. So it's almost as if I'm expecting him to be one way that maybe he'll never be unless he assimilate to American culture. But he just ain't going to get it. So the debate is going to be endless. But I feel like at least at the bottom, respect. But even I think that's still a complicated concept to understand because that's still socially defined what respect actually means, In his mind, oh, respect means that a woman should just be quiet and listen to what a man has to say. And I'm like, I find that very annoying because I have a voice. I can talk. You dealing with a woman who likes to talk. Apparently y'all see I like to talk, right? But I also like to listen too. I like to do both, And I like to listen if a person is saying something that means something. When I start to intervene and state my perspective or my opposition to what he's saying, it's because I feel like it's necessary. Like, dude, I can't change him. I can't make you to somebody that you're not, but I will let you know how I feel about a certain situation. So I told him, I was like, I think I'm going to put this whole relationship on pause, and I'll pick back up at the end of this semester. Whether you're single or not, I don't care. If I'm single or not, oh well. Oh well. But that's serving me. Because guess what? My main priority is making sure that I meet my goals. And if I'm communicating what my goals are to a person who wants to be involved in my circle and my life, and I tell this to anybody, and you guys should take heed to this, because a lot of y'all are fucked up right now and y'all are behind on your shit. Things that you wanted to work towards, you slipping because you let motherfuckers come in your shit and run your ship. Ain't nobody running this ship. I am in control. Everybody is in control of their own life. That's the thing. And I think he's thinking from, like I said, an African perspective. I'm like, number one, we ain't married. I get it. He said within Igbo culture, and even like within most African cultures, is like the man owns the wife. He owns her. You know, he pays a bride price for her. I'm like, dude, you don't own me. I am a free woman, free as hell. No one owns this. I own me. I am responsible for me and what happens in my life. I am. Whether I succeed or I fail, guess who's responsible? Me. I take full responsibility. So what that responsibility means, I have to make sure that I have things lined up. I have to make sure that there are no distractions, there are no outside forces that's coming in fucking me up. And if I tell you this is what I'm working towards, it don't matter what it is. If I am in school or if I have this business project I'm working on, whatever, I expect you to be supportive. If you can't be supportive in that, I mean all aspects. Like, don't be stressing me out. Don't be sitting up here trying to disempower me, knowing that I need my power to do my shit, to take care of my business. But you trying to break me? Like, what is that serving you? That ain't serving me. You trying to break me down. It ain't happening. You're getting out. I'm kicking you out of my life. I don't care. If you come and you're very supportive and you want to get to know me and we can take things slow, then bingo, you have found the formula. You're a smart guy. You're a very wise guy. But if you struggle with that, it ain't up for me to teach you. I don't have time. That's just how focused I am. And that's the reason why I titled this video, Stay Focused, man. Your girl's focused. I'm so focused, dude. I've went through a relationship breakup while I've been in this program. Like, my ex, who I was with for 3 years, we broke up. Like, I think it was the end of my first year. Something like that. And honestly, I mean, yeah, I was sad about it, but I'm like, dude, I don't care. This is something I always wanted to do, and I'm going to do it, man. And if a guy can't be supportive along the way, fuck him. Oh, well. And guess what? That breakup did not stop my show. I still maintain my high GPA. I did not fall behind in any of my coursework. I did not have to modify my schedule. I am still on track. And guess what? If that breakup, who I was dating for 3 years, didn't set me back, what the hell make you think I'm about to sit up here and let somebody I don't even know come in the way and throw my shit off? No, man, it ain't happening. And the reason why I say that I see it as a distraction, because like I say, it was just back and forth and stress. And I think that's the biggest thing. Stress, man. Don't be creating these arguments. Don't be creating unnecessary stress that I don't need, knowing that my life has enough stress in it by itself. For you to come in and be unrelenting and just gotta have it your way. You're not trying to see things from the other perspective. You're not trying to bend. And then on top of that, you're being disrespectful. If I already told you that I take offense and I'm annoyed by it, certain things, it's like, oh, I'm just making a joke. I don't care if it's a joke. It's annoying, dude. Like, don't do that shit. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood. I say, you know what? It may even have nothing to do with you. It just may be me. And I own responsibility for that. I say it could be me. it could be me. And I told him, I said, actually, I do own part responsibility because I know that I can be very sensitive. And so if I'm sensitive to certain things and I'm telling you this, I say, I own responsibility for that. And I'm okay with just being single, dude. I said, we can just be friends. Like, I'll talk to you when I can. And I think that's the best course of action to take, because now ain't the time, buddy. Now ain't the time. I'm like, dude, this semester is very critical. I'm getting ready to, actually, I'm happy. I feel good about myself because today, my professor, he was sick. One of my professors, I had 2 classes today, so my second class was canceled. And during that time that I would usually have that class, I actually spent working on my dissertation. Like, really trying to get this thing done, you guys. I'm working on chapter 2, which is my literature review of my dissertation. And it's coming together. I'm going to come back and finish working on it tomorrow and on Sunday. And I'll just be so happy when chapter 2 is done. It should have been done, actually, but it's going to get done. And I'm like, I don't need no distractions. And then once I finish that, I'll do my intro, because basically it's much easier to kind of work backwards. So to do the literature review, which is like, it's a good integrated summary of the literature on my topic. And then I go back and write like a little snapshot of what my research is going to be about for my intro, go into my method section, that's chapter 3, and then my proposed data analysis, and then boom, my dissertation proposal will be done. I do my RB application, then I propose, and then boom, I propose first and then submit my RB application. But then I do my oral comp. That's another huge milestone that I have to overcome this semester. So 2 big ones, basically, my dissertation proposal and my clinical comp exam. And your girl gonna be, what is up with his phone breaking up? But yeah, once I do those 2, successfully complete both of those, then I will be considered a doctoral candidate, you guys. That's huge for me. That's important for me, you guys. And then I even was just talking to like my other colleagues. It's like, dude, after that, it's gonna be like easy breezy. Like, you can finally exhale. But people say, not really, because your 4th year, you're actually doing AP internships. Like, I ain't kind of worried about that. I feel like I get interviews. My curriculum vitae, my CV is pretty strong with my experience. I'm good in that department. But yeah. And I say, maybe then after this semester, maybe, yeah, I'll probably have less stress. My stress level will go down. And then my tolerance for, I guess, the little nitpicky shit, will probably go up. So I'll be able to tolerate more stuff. And I won't be easily annoyed. But I think it's just him. Because I'm like, dude, I have friends. I talk to people. They don't annoy me. Your ass is annoying. So you got to go, man. It's just too much stress. I don't need, I can feel, if I feel a change, I'm very much in tune with my body. If I can feel a change in my body in terms of my stress level, nah, man. And I know what it is, because I monitor and I track different things that come in and out of my life. I know it's your ass, so you got to go. Sorry, I don't mean to be mean, but I'm just saying I tried, and I've tried over and over again. This ain't just like pop up out the blue, like, oh, you got to go. No, we've talked and talked, and like, I can't. And I feel like, what am I gaining? Unless there's a reward at the end of the tunnel, but I feel like it's not even worth it. Being based on the things that me and him have talked about, like seeing his perspective, and I'm like, dude, what am I gaining by being with you? Nothing. No. Like, you gotta speak something. You gotta speak something and give me something to look forward to. Like, to communicate to me, like, okay, well, it might be worth it. It might be worth the heightened level of stress that I'm experiencing based on this cultural difference that we have that's causing this conflict, I mean, I'm the kind of person, I like to resolve conflict. That's my line of work. I can do that. And I've done that numerous times throughout my life. That's just life itself. Life is just a bunch of conflicts, you just overcome them and find a way to resolve them. But, dude, you gotta communicate, like, what is my buy-in? But I'm about to wrap this video up. On the note of staying focused, is something else I was thinking about, because there's, like I say, so many distractions. And this don't just apply to me. This applies to everybody, especially people who are working towards great things. And especially when it comes to things that you're trying to do for the black community. Changes you're trying to bring about for the black community. Positive change, you know, as it manifests itself, you know, in a political context. I think, of course, there are going to be numerous distractions. There's going to be countless distractions. I'm talking about, like, you guys ever, like, played, like, an obstacle course game where you, like, your goal is to try to get through this obstacle course, but you got all these things just in your way, like, stopping you, trying to knock you over, and just basically distracting you from what you're trying to do. Is make you lose focus, make you lose motivation, lose courage, whatever it takes to basically shut you down. I feel like that's basically how it is when you're working towards a major goal in life. You have all these things just bouncing around in your way, tripping you over, falling out of the sky, voices in your ear, real voices from different people telling you this, naysayers telling you that, people that don't believe in you, people attacking you, people making up lies about you. Understand, those are distractions. Those people are doing that on purpose. You have people who have whole agendas set out against people. And people sometimes don't believe, like, oh, well, I don't have any haters because your ass ain't doing shit. I've said this numerous times. You ain't doing shit. Nobody's watching you enough. Like, your goal, your vision, your dream ain't even big enough to warrant enough attention from people to the point where you can have naysayers and people who have established groups that have these agendas to try to distract you and destroy you. But let you do something big enough and significant enough that's going to bring about real systemic change. They call it second order change in sociology. Real change. I mean, talking about surface level change. Real change. Okay, that was my classmate. Real change that's going to cause a shift in our society. Then yeah, if you were that person that was bringing about that kind of change, then yeah, you will face attack. You will face controversy. You will have these distractions from people that unrelentingly try to bring you down. Now, I say stay focused, but it's not to say that, oh, you don't recognize that those are distractions. Be smart and be attentive, but know how to guide your attention. It's not to say you dismiss it and you just like, whatever, I don't see it, you know, I have laser vision. Of course, you can have laser vision, but you don't want to be ignorant to it either, because some of those things need to be dealt with. And especially from a legal perspective, especially if a person is impinging upon your rights, you know, or they're doing things illegally against you, then yes, that's what the law is there for, to take legal action to protect yourself against those harmful threats, against those attacks against you. But outside of that, yeah, just stay focused, man. Keep your eyes on the prize. Stay strong. Realize that a lot of things that people think that they have set out to destroy you is actually helping you. Like, when you look at all the great leaders, no great leader that really had a major impact went without facing opposition. Like, every leader always has a group of haters, you know, and they small. They seem like they big, but they're very small. I think they seem so big because people who are very influential, right? People who effect positive change in our society. We're used to positive support. We're so used to all these people admiring us and telling us how great we are and this and the other, da, da, da. So when somebody goes against that, it almost as if those people are much bigger. Like, it stands out a lot more. You know, you pay attention to it. You pay more attention to it easier. You know, that's just like if there's, you know, let's say there's a black wall, and then all of a sudden, boom, you see a pink dot. You're gonna notice that pink dot more than all the other small black dots on the wall. Why? Because it stands out. It's different. Granted, the pink dot is this big compared to all of the other black dots that color the wall black, but you're gonna notice that pink dot more because it stands out. That's the only thing. That's the thing about the so-called haters, the people that try to get in your way and distract you. You're surrounded by people who support you, and there's more people who believe in your vision and have contributed to your vision and support you. But then you'll have that one little hater, you know, and then they may have a little group of people that believe in them blindly and follow them blindly, and all of a sudden you are drawn and distracted to these motherfuckers over here. And it can be very discouraging at times. You maybe feel like, oh man, you know, there's one group of people there against me. But fuck them. Fuck them. Pay attention to all of the other people who support you. I tell authors this all the time. Fuck the motherfuckers who want to come and leave a bad review. Fuck them. That little one negative review, it don't mean, a lot of times it works to your benefit. If anything, it always usually works to your benefit, because people don't realize when they try to set out to do wrong against you, evil never prevails. It may seem like evil is winning. Evil never prevails, man. It always works to your benefit. It may feel like that now because that's just how it seems. It's an illusion. But when it's all said and done and you look back, you can see, dang, that actually helped. It worked in my favor. Like, that's just the power of how good and evil work together for your good. So that's all I got to say. I have to go and meet up with my colleague, but I'm staying focused. And I know, hey, guys who I talk to, chatted with, they probably watching this. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. It ain't fucked up, man. It's a billion freaking women out here in this world. It's a lot of freaking women out here. Go and talk to them. I ain't got the time for it. I ain't got the time for it. And I had one guy say, oh, you just want to gotta fit in your life and you don't want to fit in his. Dude, I can fit in his life too, but that's why I say maybe it's best that I just say focus on my studies, man. Because it may seem selfish, and I don't mind it being selfish. I have to be selfish because I know me, when I'm in love, I give my all, man. I'm there. And yes, it can be a distraction because you just are feeling good inside and it takes your attention away. You like, damn, you're supposed to be doing this assignment or this project for work, and you sitting up here all up in love with this motherfucker, you know? Like, there's nothing wrong with love, don't get me wrong, but I've seen it happen to a lot of women, you know? And yeah, that's nature. It's only natural to fall in love and have babies and build families. But y'all see my life taking a different course, so hey, I guess when I get my PhD, I'm gonna be trying to scramble. Like, oh, let me try to get pregnant before my ex, they disappear. But hey, I'm gonna catch you guys later. Love you guys. Bye.